welcome back to another video. So today we are back in the tiny kitchen and we're gonna be cooking up some awesome vegan Mexican enchilada corn bean chili thing. So today was like one of those days where I went to the grocery store and I really wanted to cook like a nice hearty chili because it's basically cold every single place in the United States right now, and I feel like a lot of us could benefit from something like this. So I was just like looking around the aisles and I found actually this enchilada sauce, and I was like, why don't I try and put this like in a chili with some beans and some corn and some like tomatoes. So I think this one's gonna be really good, but I've never actually made it before, which is, I kind of feel like I say that before I make every single recipe on this channel. But this is also going to be an Instant Pot recipe, so it's going to be really easy to make. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we're actually going to want to do is put a tiny bit of water in our Instant Pot. And we're going to saute some garlic and some onions. So I basically just kind of put like 1/4 of a cup of water in there. And all we're going to do is hit the saute button. So we're just going to chop up this onion and add it into our pot. There's really only 2 functions on the Instant Pot that I actually use. I know some people like they get one and they're really like afraid that they're never going to be able to figure out how to use it because there's so many different like buttons and functions and like all this kind of stuff. The only ones that we ever use are manual and saute, and that's it. I've never like used the brown rice function or anything like that. We've always just done manual. So if you have an Instant Pot and you're like totally overwhelmed by it, just don't worry about it. You really don't need like all those functions, and you can cook rice and beans and lentils and all that kind of stuff just with the manual button. Alright, so we're just gonna add our onion into here, and obviously like when we're sauteing stuff we want to keep the lid off. So sauteing this is definitely, you know, not like you don't have to do it if you're in a rush or you're just kind of lazy like I usually am. You don't need to actually saute stuff all the time. Like, is it heating up? So a lot of times when I make recipes, I'll just literally just throw all the ingredients in there and just press like 20 minutes manual, and everything usually turns out pretty good. So now I'm just gonna chop up 4 cloves of garlic and just like kind of finely mince them. Actually, I think I have like 6 here, but just however much garlic you like. If you don't like onions and garlic, then you can totally just skip this step as well. We'll just give that a stir. So now we will just add in 2 tomatoes to our saute. And this is definitely like one of those recipes that you can play around with. So you could use, you know, like canned tomatoes, or you could leave some things out. You could add other things in that you have. Maybe you have like some jalapeno or some roasted garlic or some like tomatillos or whatever you have. You could also chop up tortillas and add them in at the end. That's like one of Derek's favorite things. Now we're just going to dice up 1 red pepper and then add this into our saute as well. And then after this we'll add in all of our spices and then basically all the other ingredients, and just turn the Instant Pot on and let it do its magic. You don't have to dice up everything like super fine. I just kind of do, you know, some small chunks, some big chunks, whatever you want to do. Alright, so for the rest of our ingredients here, we got a couple more things. 19 ounce can of red enchilada sauce. This is just like the old El Paso brand, which you could find basically in like any grocery store. But I have seen like organic ones and ones that have simpler ingredients. This one kind of has like soy protein in it. I don't know why, but it is totally vegan. I also have a can of organic black beans and a can of organic pinto beans. So I'm quickly just going to rinse these before I throw them in the Instant Pot. And then I also have a can of diced hot green chilies. And then we also have 2 cups of frozen corn. We're also going to be adding in some red lentils just to make our chili a little bit thicker. So if you guys are ever making like a chili or a stew or a chowder or something like that, and you want to just make it thicker, just add in like some red lentils because they do really well with just like soaking up the water and making dishes a lot thicker and more robust. So this has been sauteing for quite a bit. And you really just kind of want to saute things until the flavor starts to kind of fill the room. So now we'll add in our spices and then we'll add in all the rest of our ingredients. So we're gonna use, I'm not gonna measure this stuff because I'm too lazy to actually clean the measuring spoons. We're gonna add in about half a tablespoon of chili powder. We're also gonna add in about a teaspoon of paprika and then just a little bit of cumin, so like half a teaspoon of cumin. All right, now that we have that, we'll just give it a good stir. And then we're gonna add in the most important ingredient, nutritional yeast. So we'll just add in about 1/4 of a cup or so, half a cup, maybe. So my water in my Instant Pot is starting to kind of run out, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more so that nothing gets burnt. And now we're gonna add in the rest of these ingredients. So I'm quickly just gonna rinse my beans. Having some technical difficulties today. So we just added the rest of the stuff into the pot. I don't actually know if any of that was recorded. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today is a lot of people comment that I don't add any salt to the things that I'm cooking. And I was very strict. Wow, can't stand today. SOS free, so no salt, no sugar, no oil. I still don't eat any sugar basically. I don't eat any oil, and I eat just a tiny bit of salt. But I did learn a lot in the 30 days that I was completely salt free, because before I was salt free I was like so addicted to eating salt. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like I was having so much salt. I was adding salt to like processed foods. It was bad. So I went completely salt free. It totally changed like my mindset on salt, and it like totally just reset my taste buds. Now I don't add salt to my foods when it's cooking. I do add a little bit of salt sometimes to my foods when it's done cooking. I also don't really worry too much about using things like this. This actually, now that I look at it, has a lot of sodium, so I probably won't add any salt to this. But I typically just don't worry about like canned things, but I don't add like bouillon or salt to things that I'm cooking because the salt gets dissipated a lot in the cooking process. So if you're trying to cut back on sodium in your diet and you really don't know where to start, just stop cooking with salt in your actual cooking process. And when you go to eat your food, measure out like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and add it to the surface of your food and then eat your food, because you're going to actually be able to taste the salt a lot more, but you're going to be adding a lot less sodium to your diet. So that's my tip for you guys on adding salt or cutting salt back from your diet, because it can be kind of a tricky process, like cutting salt out. And the reason that the 14-day Lean and Clean challenge is SOS free, completely salt free, is because in those 14 days you will completely reset your taste buds. Your food might taste like really bland in the beginning. During the middle of the challenge it starts to taste better, and then during the end it starts to taste really, really good, and you can start actually tasting like the flavors of beans on their own, and avocado and cilantro and greens, and you notice how salty greens and things like that really are. And then by the end of the challenge, when you come off of it, you're very sensitive to the salt in your food. So you'll, like, if you eat something processed, it's gonna taste terrible. I remember when I first ate something processed after I did 30 days salt free, I ate a couple of like kettle chips that Derek got. They were just like vegan ones, and they tasted so disgusting to me. I could only eat like 2 of them. Whereas before, I probably could have eaten the entire bag. So that is kind of like the reason that I recommend not eating like a ton of salt or cutting back on salt, because you can get really used to it really quickly. And it's better to just, you know, just lower the amount of salt that you're using. And I mean, it's not bad to have a little bit of salt in your diet. So hopefully that was helpful. I just added a cup of red lentils into here, and then I'm just adding about another 2 cups of water, and then we're just gonna give this a stir. So now all I do with the Instant Pot actually is I just turn it off. So I do cancel, and then we'll just put the lid on, put it on sealed, so you don't want it to be venting, and then we'll just press manual, and we'll do this for 18 minutes. So anything with kind of like lentils or red lentils, I usually do like 18 to 20 minutes. If I'm cooking dry beans, I literally cook them for like an hour in the Instant Pot, because I like them to be like canned beans, so like soft and kind of gooey. I don't like my beans to be even slightly hard. So we're gonna let this baby cook, and we will catch you on the taste test. Anticipation just kills me. Derek got back just in time. So we're gonna do the official taste test.
Oh, you got quite the little setup going on here.
Yeah, in the beginning, I don't actually think it was really focused, and it's like a new setup, so we had a lot of technical difficulties today, but we made it through, right guys? Do you want a big bowl or a little bowl?
Just a little one.
Doesn't it look good?
Mm-hmm.
It's enchilada bean, corn, chili, whatever. I don't even know what to call it.
It looks hot.
Before you guys serve this too, you can also add like a little bit of nutritional yeast to the top.
That'd be good.
Oh yeah. Or you could add like some chopped scallions. That'd be really good.
Or green onions, for other people call it green onions.
Green onions. Or even like chopped tomatoes or avocado or something.
Mm-hmm.
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 Mm-hmm. I really like it. It's different than like all the other chilies I make.
Mm-hmm. It's more Mexican, I guess you could say.
It's like, well, it has enchilada sauce in it, so it's like an enchilada, but it's like not
I like
in a tortilla. Look up, Bubba.
I give it a solid like 8, 8.5.
Whatever. I'm done with this right now. It's so funny because we've been teaching Bubba to stay out of the kitchen, and I'll show you guys where he is right now. If he gets in trouble, he goes into the bathroom. He's just sitting in the bathroom right now. What a dork.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'd give it like a 10.
A 10?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll up it up to a 9.
It's kind of like, it's like creamy.
Mm.
You know?
It's a very good, really good consistency.
Yeah,
it's like not watery, but it's not like a freaking thick.
And it's not like it's like none of it's blended, so it's just like a really good, like, creamy consistency.
Low fat?
Yeah. It's only red lentils, beans, corn, some spices, and then like some like tomatoes and onions and stuff.
Mm.
No fat.
Thumbs up.
I really like it. I don't even care if you don't like it.
I do like it. Put some rice on top. If we have some green onions. Do we have any green onions?
No.
Man.
Sad day. Cool guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't mind him and his rating system. We're not even going to pay attention to it anymore. It's like, it just doesn't matter because it's always an 8. So like,
if it's bad, I would tell you.
It's like if you played basketball and you always knew what the score was going to be at the end of the game, like why would you even play? Thumbs up.
I love your food. I give it all an 8 or a 9. Unless it sucks. Then it's like a 4 or 5. But I haven't had a 4 or 5 yet.
Whatever. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.